Comics in the combat zone. Comics in the combat zone. Usually we make you laugh, but now we're watching guys get stabbed with light tubes.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Comics in the Combat Zone. We are back featuring our guest, Tony Wright. How's it going, Tony?
It's going well. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's our reboot, relaunch. You were on a couple. You were the Cage of Death correspondent, and now Best of the Best. We love it.
Yeah, man.
And how are you doing, Ben? Good week?
Yeah, good. Yeah, we had a gritty reboot, so.
Yeah.
The podcast is the same, except all our parents are dead.
It's like Spider-Man. Yeah. No, I remember we did an episode recorded in the green room, and I think I recorded it on my phone to try. I was going to try put it on YouTube, and then I remember just looking at my phone, and it's recording stopped half an hour ago because we can't fit it on this piece of shit phone. So now we've got video. This will actually be seen by people. But how have you been doing, Tony? You've been making waves in the world of pro wrestling.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. It's been exciting.
Yeah. You're working for TNT a lot, right?
Work a lot for TNT.
Not the TV station, Ben. The wrestling company.
The AC/DC song.
What's the deathmatchiest type of thing you've done in your career?
I've had a few hardcore matches, no holds barred, last man standing type things. Mm-hmm. Some involving the standard tables, chairs, kendo sticks. I think the gnarliest thing I've done is Lego.
Oh dude, that would suck.
I had a pretty brutal ladder match as well. Actually.
Right.
But yeah, I've never dived into the glass and the tacks and that sort of thing.
No pizza cutter.
Not yet, no.
That does feel
skewers in the head.
Yeah. There does feel like the line between regular hardcore and then ultra violent, and it's probably barbed wire right on the edge there, and then tax glass, all that shit. Are you excited about? Are you going to be at the Tournament of Death, or do you even maybe have a place on the card?
I might be there. I don't know if I don't think I'll be entering the tournament at all.
Fair.
But I'll be there for the vibes. Because usually as well, TNT will do a full weekender. So there'll be shows before that, I think, which may be a little bit more standard wrestling matches before the
for
main
babies.
event.
Yeah. Baby stuff.
That is what I do. That is what I do.
Well, we are going to just kick it off here. That's enough banter for this podcast as we cover CZW Best of the Best 2, which happened June 8th, 2002. How old were you guys June 8th, 2002?
I was 5.
I mean, I would say, considering we were all born again after 9/11, I was 1 year old.
Yeah, I was 12. And I do remember 9/11 being a big deal, but we're here now in 2002.
I was 8.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we kick it off and we get our cut copy graphic that just says opening ceremony. And I forget that they go full Japan with these tournaments. They bring everyone out with the custom Best of the Best t-shirt just for this event. I thought it was for some reason, Danny Rose is the guy who introduces all these. Makes no sense. He's just a tag team wrestler. I guess who's got a modicum of charisma. They're you can be the guy who announces everybody.
Yeah, it is weird, and it is just they shouldn't be doing what the Olympics do. They're not nearly not credible enough to be wheeling out these guys who for the most part just getting booed and called names and stuff. And
it was really weird and disjointed. It felt like a curtain call, but before the show.
Yeah, completely. And I would love one of these Best of the Best shirts though. If they were only sold on the day, can you imagine how rare that would? Replace this DDP one and get a Best of the Best shirt up there. But no, I thought I was the first thing he does is announces the people who have no-showed tonight. So almost we're getting this out of the way early, just the disappointment of Elix Skipper, a name I wouldn't have thought was even associated with CZW. And I guess he wasn't because he didn't show up. But they say Elix Skipper is meant to be here, he won't be here. Then they say Jason Cross, and the crowd literally starts going who? And he's exactly. Fuck him, he's not here either.
It would be crazy just they listed it was the entire thing was him being Sean Connery.
Or just every wrestler they contacted and didn't hear back from. Juventud Guerrera.
Stanley Kubrick.
But yeah, and I will say, I have written here the mics actually sound good for once. Dan, you can understand him on the mic, so that was a point on this show. And then out comes, in all of their shirts, all of their glory, I'll say them really quick in order, Johnny Cashmere, Trent Acid, B-Boy, Johnny Storm, Gabriel of the Lost Boys, who we've never heard of, Ruckus, Super Dragon, M-Dog20, Jody Flesh, Max Fury, Nick Burke, and Tony Mama Luke. They comprised the second ever Best of the Best tournament. Were there any names that stood out to you guys when you first saw them? Like, oh shit, that guy.
The list as a whole doesn't come across like wrestlers. It comes across like low-end rappers from like the early 90s.
M-Dog20 specifically.
B-Boy, M-Dog20, Tony Mama Luke. Drop the beat.
The only ones who stood out were the ones I already know rule. Like, and also, like Trent Acid and stuff, I'm like, cool, I know he's good.
Yeah.
But also, I was just like, there's no way Wife Beater and Zandig aren't showing up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's what I was thinking at the time anyway. I was like, come on, like this is Best of the Best. So yeah, no one really.
So apart from like the notable ones where you see like the legends of like indie wrestling, so like Ruckus and people like that, that's cool. But I think for me, I always get a bit excited when I see Nick Burke because the only time I ever see his name is when I do this podcast.
He's evolved a bit.
So like I feel like him and me meet because of this podcast. So every time I watch one, I'm like, oh, it's Nick Burke. Is that guy?
Nick Burke Pavlovian response.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I would say the one name that jumped out to me as quite exciting in this was Super Dragon, because he's almost got like a mythical like indie aura about him. He was one of the co-founders of PWG, and he's just known for doing really dangerous spots, which we'll see a few of on this card. And it's funny because it's just I don't know his genetic makeup, but to me it just looks like he just looks like an out of shape white guy who's decided to put on the coolest mask ever and call himself Super Dragon, and it works for some reason.
Yeah, because he's like a pillar of like the US indies in the noughties, and then I can't say I've watched too much of his stuff apart from like maybe compilations of his cool moves and that. And watching him on this show is like, oh, he's quite like out of shape.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He looks so he moves like he's walking through custard because he's just so gassed.
He's the out of all the wrestlers I've heard with the name Dragon in their name, he's easily the most out of shape. Like everyone else is usually a ripped Japanese guy, and this is just Super Dragon. But I was excited to see him, and Tony Mamaluke got a pretty big reaction as well, being an ECW alumni here. But then we cut, and the first out for the tournament is Gabriel. They say he's half of the Lost Boys with Azrael, which that name triggers. I've heard that name before, but I don't know why.
Kiefer Sutherland film.
Immediately the heel commentator is getting offensive, like, I didn't know they like girls in this tournament. And you're like, he just had the run-on joke that this guy was a girl because he had long hair, I guess.
That is it, yeah, because in my head I was like, are they doing, because I'm so 2026, I was like, oh, are they actually trans and they're being hot? It's like, no, he's just got long hair. Like that's literally as archaic as it used to be. It was like a long hair girl.
Yeah.
And then out second is a fan favorite, M-Dog20. And I was like, okay, that's a good singles match. And then they bring out Trent Acid. As the commentator explains, all the opening rounds are going to be triple threats. When one person gets pinned, they are then eliminated from the tournament. And then the two other guys will come back out later on to almost like continue the match. What did you guys think of that for like formatting?
Bad.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I think the setup works. I think it would have been interesting if they'd done it as like, because Trent Acid had, obviously the point in a couple of episodes ago was like, oh, you need to wrestle and defend it every match. And if this was like a Trials of Trent Acid, that would be fine. That would be a good setup. But because it was just like, no, every wrestler has to come out 200 times and do it. It's like, what's the, like, I don't think this is going to play out well.
Yeah, I think my big problem with it is that you like, but in the triple threat, you see the two guys who are going to have a match that already do their sort of moves on each other.
Yeah.
So then they're going to be brought out later, and it's going to feel sort of like something we've seen already.
With less energy.
And they're tired now.
Yeah.
There was, I might have missed a bit as well, but I'm pretty sure someone who won a triple threat then has a singles match with someone who lost the same triple threat.
That might have happened.
Yeah,
we'll look into it. I remember last year they were literally like, Juventud Guerrero was meant to be on the card, and he was late from the airport, like his plane got delayed. So they had someone else do his opening match, and then he gets to the arena, and they just get rid of that guy who won the opening match and put Juventud Guerrero there. But this was, a triple threat match. Almost immediately, the guys that are outside doing dives, they are all really high energy. You can tell they're sort of like Because for context, Tony, the first Best of the Best was a year ago, and it was a pretty successful show for them, and was pretty highly regarded. And it was sort of Zandig's way of being like, look, it's not just trash garbage wrestling. We have some of the best junior heavyweights ever, and they can also do trash garbage wrestling. But so that's sort of the impetus. So Trent Acid got to the finals last year, and I think they were trying to do like a redemption arc story for him. But yeah, they were all doing their cool dives. Gabriel looked like, you know, sort of a skinny indie guy who can do lots of cool flips, and that's all he needed to be here. M-Dog was doing all of his really impressive moves that we've seen him do at this point a few times now. The flagpole press. He hits a shooting star leg drop, which I don't know if I'd seen before.
Yeah,
that
looks like he's
dangerous.
not going to make it as well, and then he does. It's quite impressive.
Yeah.
It's like, you're watching it, and for 95% of it, you think this is going to end badly, and then it doesn't, and you're like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah. It's wild. And then he hits a shooting star leg drop, and then for some reason Gabriel just pops up almost too quick because he knows he needs to take another move.
Yeah.
And he gets Yakuza kicked in the face and takes the pin at 6 minutes 5 seconds. So the guy we assumed would have been out was out here.
Yeah.
And then we cut second match. First guy out. He's wearing like a leather mask, almost like a gimp mask. B-boy, and I was like,
a lot of masks.
I've heard the name B-boy for ages and never seen this guy, and I would not have I'd see he's even tough to describe. He's not what I expected.
He's the most creator wrestler looking person I've ever seen, and that is from a show where everyone looks like a creator wrestler. It's the oversized t-shirt, the baggy trousers, the cheap looking like kick pads and stuff.
That's his best. His best of the best. He's dressed up for this as well. He's wearing his best stuff.
Yeah, I love it, but it was just sort of like, you're all just being the characters you made on WWE.
Yeah.
And that's, it's sick.
Yeah. Speaking of dressed for this occasion, out comes Nick Burke in a snazzy new red singlet, drinking a Red Bull. He's just gunning for this Red Bull sponsorship.
Yeah, he is. His heart is not doing well.
Yeah. And then out second, the world's coolest wrestler, Super Dragon. So basically, they've said that B-Boy and Super Dragon have tons of history, and they almost like telegraph how the finish is going to go here, because it's like, look, we brought these two guys in from California. Those plane tickets were expensive. We're going to get a couple uses out of them. So that's basically what this match was. They're all doing sort of cool moves. But it's all just such a sort of get Nick Burke out of the equation at the same time. And in this case, I would say it's the right call, because B-Boy and Super Dragon have this pace that sort of Nick Burke can't keep up with, and they're doing really cool moves, and they feel new and fresh here.
Yeah, Super Dragon especially, he is good. I mean, he is not built, but I love someone who defies expectations. Why I like, you know, Ruckus and things like that. You know, big boy showing you he can still move.
Yeah. Well, I like at one point Burke has this move he calls the Oriental Scorpion, which is just a name I've not heard before. But it's basically a surfboard, and then B-Boy just appears out of nowhere and breaks it up with a double stomp. So all the stuff that they're laying in is really just solid. And then finally, Super Dragon, they're teasing he's got this move called the Psycho Driver this entire match, and then he does it and he just drops Burke right on his head and neck, and I'm like, that must be the Psycho Driver.
Yeah.
Psycho Driver number 2, sorry. That's, for some reason, moves are cool when you add a number.
Multiple versions of this?
It's like the sliced bread number 2. It's cooler with a number.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah.
Nick Burke is out of this one at 6:57. Which brings us to round number 3. So were you guys into the concept at this point? You're watching it, you're just junior heavyweight matches. It sort of did give me a best of the Super Juniors type of vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the wrestling so far was good, but they were burning through it so fast. I was like, this is going to run out of steam very soon.
It's pretty, because those like triple threat matches by default, you can't do like a normal story and character and stuff. It is just balls to the wall for however long.
Mm-hmm.
So you're opening the show with like 3 or 4 of them. It's amazing, but where do you go after that?
Yeah, they're all blitzes.
And it's also all the best wrestlers. Like, if we go by like who they've said is going to be on the show, Whitey is not going to show up. Zandig's not, like, you're getting rid of Trent Acid, or, you know, making them gas out already, because so I was like, this is fun, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they took big risks in who they highlighted on this show, and I think that ended up paying off. Because, if a lot of the guys they gave the push to on this show didn't pay off, it would sort of be like a lot flatter. But I also think the other problem with it is they're all doing their like you said, sort of bursting out hype, but they're all doing fast-paced reverse-offs and things.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, we've just seen better wrestlers do that the match before. So now in this third match, you've got like Max Fury, Ruckus, and Tony Mamaluke. And I didn't think they were as good as like the previous match, but they're all doing the exact same moves.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, it's the same kind of match over and over again. Whereas usually CZW, it's one thing they're actually decent at is like variance and, which is weird.
Across the board variance.
So we hit Max Fury, who is, he'd only been in one appearance before this. Tony, they say this man is a 17-year MMA veteran with 35 pro wins. we and Ben were like, where did you get these wins? Like, in a pre-UFC world. He's also tiny. Going up against Ruckus and Tony Mamaluke. Tony Mamaluke, he's got that sort of thing where it's like a pro in an indie company. Like, he just looks better than everyone.
I literally wrote that down. I was like, Tony Mamaluke walking out. I know he had done like ECW and stuff at this point, but it felt him being the most aura-filled wrestler. He walked out and it felt like he felt like The Rock.
Yeah.
How mad is it that a show can have? He is the most like charismatic kind of looking fella who is, but he looked great. Obviously, he had professional like looking gear and stuff. He just had like this swagger where it's like, it just blew my mind that he was he looked like the absolute peak of this show.
Yeah. Well, it's Ben made a comparison before. It's like if you see a retired football star play five-a-side, you're like, holy fuck, this guy's like a whole other level of... And that's sort of what this is. Even, you're right, just the wrestling gear, and you're like, wow, this guy is levels above what we've been seeing.
He has at least 3 figures in his bank account.
And he's hitting everything so stiff. Like, I don't know if this is like a pro working indie like mentality where it's like, look, these guys are going to learn what wrestling's about today, and he just lays in everything. But that might just be a Tony Mamaluke thing as well. At one point, he hits like a 6 Saito suplex on Max Fury and just chucks him. And they're like, oh, that's the Italian suplex. And I'm like, why? Just because he's Italian? That's all it is. Fury tries to do a shooting star press off of Ruckus's back onto Mamaluke, and he just brutally face plants. And it's this is one of those mean crowds where the guy looks like he's just injured himself and it's immediate, you fucked up, Jan. But that's it, you take risks, that's what happens.
Imagine doing that in front of Mamaluke though, you'd just leave the arena.
You would be humiliated.
Yeah.
That's like bombing in front of a pro comp when you're just
nah, this ain't happening.
But yeah, Ruckus hits a standing Phoenix Splash on Fury, which is as crazy as it sounds, the fact that he can do that. And then Mamaluke rushes and dumps Ruckus outside and hits a super wheelbarrow facebuster to pin and eliminate Max Fury at 6:03. And then it's funny, Mamaluke does this whole pretending to check on Fury before just chucking him out, chucking out the trash.
Yeah, check out the trash. I mean, Ruckus is great. I mean, the commentary is laser focused on calling him fat. He's not even that fat.
It's mad because
he
looks. He is the same shape as every wrestler on this show.
Yeah.
Apart from like the few where it's like Trent Acid and Tony Mamaluke, they're quite shredded.
Yeah.
Every fella that's wearing a t-shirt is the same shape as Ruckus.
He used to be bigger and he lost weight, but now they are just proper like Cosmopolitan magazine where it's
and he's like probably the most athletic person on the
I
show.
love it. I love it so much that he's doing the amount of flips he's doing.
And the height he gets from like he doesn't even like springboard or bounce off the ropes. He does like a stand-in Phoenix Splash, and he clears the ropes for
it's
about
like when you
3
went
feet.
to like reduced gravity cheat code in GTA. Like there's no way you should be able to jump that high from a standing position.
He's incredible.
But it is sort of like you ever have that friend, like if you had your friend in the friend group who was the like a fat guy or whatever, where that would be the go-to joke or whatever, but then they lose weight, but then it's still the go-to joke because that's what you've always done. It feels like that, where it's like, okay, guys, I think it's safe to say this guy is thin now.
Yeah.
Also, just don't call anyone fat, really. Like, ultimately, that should be the lesson. Not that he's thin now. Don't say.
Yeah, checking all the boxes on this show so far.
Yeah,
like 3 matches in, and they've done like some like misogynistic stuff. They've done some sizist stuff.
Yeah.
Not racist yet, though.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still time.
We cut, and then out first, with shades on, comes straight from the UK, Johnny Storm. Is this a name either of you guys have heard of?
Yeah.
Really? Is he still going, do you know?
A little bit, yeah. He still does like shows here and there. I think he's more kind of like on the holiday camp circuit and stuff.
Cool.
But I remember watching him. Do you guys remember the Wrestling Channel on Sky?
I wouldn't have been here.
Oh, of course.
Like, we didn't have anything called that, but that sounds great.
It was a few years, like in the mid 2000s, there was a channel just dedicated to wrestling, but it had loads of indie stuff on there, and then it also had like New Japan, Ring of Honor, just loads of tapes would just get played hour after hour.
Right.
And he was quite a main feature of that because it was like a UK channel, and he was probably the most notable indie guy. Him and Jody Fleisch were so notable in the States at the time that he was like the biggest feature on that show. So he was like, for a little while, one of my favourite wrestlers, just because it was like, he's English, he's doing the wrestling.
Yeah, that's very cool. Because so Jody Fleisch is out right after, who's in cool parachute pants. And that's a name I'd heard before because I followed Ring of Honor really closely when it started, and he was big in Ring of Honor early on. Which is funny because I checked it. Ring of Honor started like 2 months before this. Like it was in February 2002. So
really?
That company's already going at this point. Yeah. And then out third is Johnny Cashmere, and I sort of got. It's just like the second match. It's like you've flown two guys in from the UK who are very familiar with each other, and then a third local guy. It's pretty clear who's going to be cut out of this situation.
It's a shame as well because Cashmere is good. It's a shame they burn him like this.
Yeah.
Like they just
Especially, but it makes sense because, I mean, he's partnered with Trent Acid, and Trent Acid's already moved ahead.
Yeah.
I guess you're not going to... immediately there's loud Cashmere Swallows chants to start, so we've got some homophobia in here as well.
There we go.
That's
3 or 4.
But yeah, so the Brits are double teaming early. They're doing dives. Nobody's home for Jody, who dives outside, but he lands right on his feet. Immediately, everyone's like, all right, this Jody Fleisch guy looks cool.
Yeah.
Even, I think it's meant to be a showcase for Johnny and Fleisch sort of steals the show here, and that'll sort of be a theme.
Would this have been his first time in the US, or would he have been known?
Well, like I said, I think he might have done a Ring of Honor. I can't remember if he was on the first couple, but he was definitely breaking into the US at this point.
He's going to be on a bit of pull then, if he was a big name in the UK.
I'm wondering if it made more sense for him to book a bunch of dates and then fly over, so he might have been, doing all sorts of things.
It was probably after this, but I think they both did a TNA show as well in 2002. They did like a cruiserweight world tournament, and they both represented the UK. And it was a similar thing of it was a load of triple threats and fatal four ways with just unsigned talent.
Yeah.
But I think they did that around this time as well.
Yeah, it is crazy the amount of indie, specifically junior heavyweight talent around this time. And they would be the foundation for Ring of Honor, but also CZW getting on it. But yeah, so the Brits eventually turn on each other. Jody's locked in he's got them in this gory stretch when Cashmere just dives on both of them. That looks pretty good. They're giving Cashmere a lot here because it's pretty clear they're just going to get rid of him. And then for some reason, Gabriel appears with a chair and attacks Cashmere. But then Cashmere makes his own comeback with his baseball bat, and then Storm sneaks in and just gets a victory roll on him to eliminate Cashmere at 5:18. But I was like, I don't even remember the Backseat Boys cheating, so I was with this Gabrielle interference. Made no sense.
There is a very, very quick Cashmere interference in the first match.
Oh, I must have missed that.
But it is just blink and you'll miss it. He runs in, he hits Gabriel, and then that's it, he just leaves.
Right.
So then he's paying that off and bringing it back, but then Cashmere literally just he gets punched in the face for about 30 seconds. He takes about 40 digs in the face, and then he just gets up, catches a bat, and sells nothing.
He's a Backseat Boy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. At least it's made sense then. At least there was a reason.
Yeah, that's easy. CZW always makes sense.
But that's the thing, I saw it and I still had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, fair. Well, then we cut, and then speaking of not knowing what's going on, we just see the graphic that reads Battle Royal. And I was like, all right, for what? For what reason? And then out comes at this point, he's the general manager, the boss, Lobo.
Is
he? Yeah, I think so.
They've still yet to confirm it. I think that's the bad thing, though, is they always are doing this he's the boss!
He treats himself like the boss.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could just walk into a company and just call yourself the boss.
Yeah, as long as you had two people on commentary saying you were, everyone would have to accept it.
He does have a cool Punisher jersey on.
Yeah, he doesn't understand what the Punisher stands for. He misunderstands it.
He tries to talk as the fans are drowning him out with wife beater chants. And then he goes
That's
on.
a wrestler, by the way. They're not.
Yeah, they're not just chanting for fun.
Am I right? Is he like the baby face?
Wife beater.
Yeah.
Amazingly, yes.
He's maybe the biggest babyface in the company.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He's awesome. He's so sick, though.
What's funny, so
The US is so scary.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, so Chris Hero debuted last week in this
Sick.
company, and when I was doing a Wikipedia dive on him, I found out his original name was Wife Beater, but he offended a woman in the crowd and then vowed not to use that name anymore.
That's the sort of person Chris Hero is. He's,
Yeah.
He's a
actually
hero.
very, very caring about other people.
Yeah. So Lobo moves on to talk about Justice Payne. He said he just no-showed tonight because people don't like him. Doesn't make sense. This is just a long fucking promo.
I hate Lobo so much.
He announces a gauntlet over-the-top battle royal, which is just their way of saying Royal Rumble. The winner getting a shot at Nick Mondo's Iron Man title. And then they're like, and we got Nick Mondo right here. And the camera pans over and he's just chilling there next to commentary.
It is like a Family Guy cutaway joke. Like you just out of nowhere. It's just like, remember that time I was Nick Mondo? It's just like, all right.
Yeah, your biggest star is just casually right there.
Yeah.
And then out first is the new school. Jimmy Washington, my least favorite manager, is out cutting a promo. GQ catches a mic. All of this is just going nowhere until the Hate Club come down and rush the ring and attack. This Battle Royal quickly falls off the rails. I was trying to keep track of it as people were coming in and out. And then it's almost like you can just imagine someone in gorilla position just being like, go, go, go.
Yeah.
Like people are coming out before anything's established. It was just a mess here.
I mean, I thought it was funny when they were like, Eric Gargiulo. And like, they come, it's like, that's me! And he like ran in and did that was quite funny.
You always mix them out. It's John House.
John House,
is the heel commentator, and he does do that gimmick.
Yeah.
It's funny because like I forgot what this guy looks like. He comes down strutting, and then Eddie Valentine throws him out immediately.
Yeah, which is pretty. That was like the funniest bit.
Yeah, and then one name we got here, who like imagine this is your debut with a company, but Sanjay Dutt appears. Who's like a big name,
yeah.
TNA's X Division. He's got a really big run there. He's still in wrestling now as AEW as a manager and performer.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that he was just here in this hodgepodge bullshit match was so
It
insane.
must have been early to one of his first appearances.
Yeah.
Like,
And he does my favorite thing in a battle royal that guys do sometimes. He runs in, gets to the top rope, and dives onto someone, thus eliminating himself. Like first thing he does this crazy dive.
kamikaze wrestler.
Yeah, commentary at this point is openly confused. They don't know who's in and who's out. They're trying to figure it out in the ring.
Yeah.
The heavy drinkers come out. They're now calling themselves Styles and Knox. That's their gimmick, is that they drink and they come out with whiskey. Josh Prohibition is here.
Zandig would have been
Josh
laughing.
Prohibition.
Yeah.
After the heavy drinkers, ironically.
He came to put an end to that. And he's chucked by Nate Hatred immediately. You feel bad. So Josh Prohibition debuted with M-Dog 20 as a tag team partner.
The fuck have you just said?
This is so
That's not real
stupid.
words.
Josh Prohibition, apparently he's like quite a famous name to it. It's a mad name, Josh Prohibition. I don't know if that's a stage name.
At least there's not a number in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they debuted as a tag team, but because M-Dog 20 is so impressive, he's just completely overshadowed Josh Prohibition, and now Josh Prohibition's just like a jobber here. Yeah.
I still think about when M-Dog 20 does the thing on the flagpole.
Oh,
where
yeah.
he like lifts it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a great spot. At one point, Rockin' Rebel comes out here. He's thrown over the ring, and the commentary's like, that's the only time he's ever been over. And I was like,
That's actually, that's so true. It is so true.
Really funny, but what a burial.
Yeah.
Rockin' Rebel is the word. He's so bad.
How'd you get booked?
Eventually, people just like, I don't know if they're eliminated or just like walk to the back, like their time's done, and we're just left with Adam Flash, Nick Gage, and the Messiah. And the Messiah chucks both out as they're near the corners, wins, and the thing goes over 15 minutes. But it's not over, because Justice Payne attacks. The guy who we've established isn't here tonight. And he eliminates Messiah and wins, and apparently that gets him a title match later on tonight.
The rules do matter.
Dude, this show is going so well. Like, the first 40 minutes, I'm like, man, this is a good show. And then this fucking hodgepodge happened.
And
Yeah.
that's the longest match so far. All the opening hour matches were about 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of what is a very long show, they've done a full Royal Rumble.
That's
That's insane.
Which lasts under 20 minutes still, but yeah, it makes no sense at all. Justice Pain, of course, gets a mic. He cuts a promo saying, like, basically saying he's going to do this match tonight. And then Lobo's like, no, it's a triple threat. You, Mondo, Messiah, winner takes all for all the belts. Which would have been fine maybe if they didn't do this exact same match last month. They did a belts on the line thing and just changed all their titles the show before this. So they're just they're not hot potatoing one belt, it's just all of them.
The only thing I can imagine why they do it is that you have to sell an individual videotape right at every point. So you have to be like, when they're selling a videotape, no, this one's got the title match on it. No, this one's got the title match on it. Because, like, there's no reason to have so many title matches in a row. Like, you lose the allure, and also, having a battle royale in the middle of your tournament is just like, where's the focus supposed to be? Are we supposed to care about the tournament now, or this triple threat?
Yeah, and at least they do keep it totally separate. Like, I was waiting for guys who already have been in the tournament to come out during the Royal Rumble or whatever, and I was like, don't do that. That would be really dumb.
Yeah.
But we cut. This whole thing was awful. I've just written here in caps, awful. And then we cut, and we're just back to the tournament.
Yeah.
So out comes M-Dog 20, and again...
When the screen as well, my favourite match, end of disc 1. That was my favourite match.
I did see that. I think that's later. Yeah. But no, it's M-Dog 20 versus Trent Acid, which is a match that they've been sort of building to. Like, that team I just told you about, Tony, where the young upstarts were pissing off the veteran Backstreet Boys. And they just have, like, what is, a very good back and forth match for the most part. It's a Trent Acid match, so he's getting chairs involved almost immediately. He gets a chair table set up. M-Dog 20 then hits a reverse tornado DDT on him, which it's as crazy as it sounds. Yeah. It's the Space Dog M-Dog driver, which is what it's called. I wrote it down. And then the flagpole press that Ben was going on about, there he holds off the pole. That is pretty impressive, yeah. They do another chair table, and then Acid cuts him off as they're both on the apron, and they just do this botch DDT off the apron, like miss the chair table. Yeah, really dangerous looking. So then Acid then lays M-Dog on the pile of chairs, teases a moonsault. M-Dog cuts him off and tries to Hurricane Rana him. And M-Dog, it's like Acid, it's almost like he doesn't know if he should go for the Hurricane Rana because it's so tight. But he goes to try spin, and instead of flipping on his back, his head fucking smacks into the chairs and the thing. This looked ugly. He could have like broken his nose easily here. In ring, M-Dog misses that shooting star leg drop we saw earlier. That cues Josh Prohibition to come down, distracts M-Dog, and then M-Dog gets rid of Josh Prohibition like he's nothing, and then hits his reverse Rana on Trent Acid. Which I was going to ask, had you ever seen a reverse Rana by 2002? Because to me, I was like, that's fucking... It would have blown my mind if I'd seen it in 2002.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it went back that early, but also it actually sort of checks out.
Yeah.
It fits with the sort of mad moves that they are doing at this time. Everyone's doing sort of neck bump type moves.
Yeah. When Acid isn't even totally sure how to sell it, because you can tell he's not really taken it before, so he's not ready to let go and like allow his head to be spiked like you see the move done today. But yeah, for some reason... Like, M-Dog's on top rope, he's got Acid laid there, and instead he dives outside at Josh Prohibition, and Josh hits him out of the air with the chair. Jericho Benoit, this was not, he basically fucked it up. They just sold it like he hit it, and then he throws M-Dog back inside, who eats a Yakuza kick from Acid, who wins this at 19 minutes and 40 seconds. Oof. I will say the match was too long, and I felt like, I don't know, I had higher expectations for these two.
Well, because they're knackered.
Well, no, it was a 6-minute match earlier.
Yeah, but you don't know what's going on in the back rooms.
I just felt the chemistry wasn't. I thought, I don't know, I expected them to click a bit more. It felt like with a 19-minute match, you'd be cooking at that point. Yeah. And it felt like they never really took it to that next gear.
I mean, 19 minutes is too long, even like for a match.
For a guy who's going to wrestle 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's tonight. What I mean. The guy's like out. Like, he's must be knackered, and that's when... you're like, oh, that's when mistakes happen.
Have you ever?
This is so dangerous.
Have you ever had to do multiple matches in a show?
Yes. Recently, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I had to do one where I was in a Rumble and then won the Rumble, which then put me in a triple threat.
Right. Okay.
Night. So I did 20-ish minutes in the Rumble and then 15 to 20 minute main event.
And are you feeling gassed by the main event, or is it sort of like?
A little bit.
That was a while ago. Oh no.
The gap in between is good because you kind of like you've still got the adrenaline and that kind of pushes you through to the next one. I think if I had to do any longer, I would have really struggled. But a good thing about a Rumble is that you're selling longer than you are doing anything.
That makes sense.
But I think if I had to do another match, another normal match beforehand, I would have felt it a bit more. And there's been times where maybe it is the classic holiday or like family structure is 2 singles matches at the start that then becomes a tag match to end the show.
Oh, right.
So
yeah.
you do like a 10-minute match and then there's shenanigans and then you do a big tag match to end on. And that's sort of all right.
Yeah, I've seen shows that do that.
In and out, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you
that
split up the energy.
Yeah, I mean, they are young, fit boys, but I just don't know.
But also, like on my side of things, if I am doing multiple matches, I'm probably thinking I'm going to save all of my mad shit for the last one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The first one, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I do.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be largely like character or whatever. And then I'll gradually do like my bigger moves or my cooler spots later on. But then they've
And
already
then
gone...
when you're affected most by fatigue, then you start doing the dangerous stuff, right?
For sure.
Yeah, when you're most...
But like they went out in the first match and did everything. All of the big bumps. Oh, that's what I mean. Is like I'm probably taking safer bumps early on.
Yeah.
And then if you want to drop me on my head, we'll probably save it for later on. But they've already done that, so they might be like absolutely fucked.
Yeah, I imagine Trent having the same thought process, except instead of taking energy, it's doing cocaine.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
what I'm...
All right, I'm 3 matches down. I'll save these for right after that 3rd match.
Yeah.
So we get cut intro to B-Boy first, then comes out Super Dragon. He gets in Little Mondo's face, who's a regular crowd member, like a kid. I do like threatening children. These two, they're clearly familiar with each other. They have this great reverse off. They've said that they've wrestled together many times, so this is just like basically a highlight package for whatever company they're at. Super Dragon does something I've never seen before, which is awesome. He botches a kip up completely and falls back down on his ass, and then just immediately does a second kip up and lands on his feet, and everyone's like, I'm like, that was awesome.
Respect to Trier.
But they're even doing like, they call it shoot style on commentary, but like MMA based offense, like a lot of like Kyle O'Reilly type shit here, like for lack of a better comparison. And this all ends when Super Dragon hits a capo kick in the corner, followed by a double stomp, and then they wrestle outside after he not botches, but gets cut off with a suicide dive. Then B-Boy himself hits a stiff missile dropkick, diving knee. Both guys are just super stiff here. Dragon hits a double arm DDT, a jumping pile driver. I love it. So he could have just hit a normal one, but he jumps on it. It's pretty cool. And all of this is getting 2 counts. It all builds up to a psycho driver, which he hits, and B-Boy rolls outside. And then he's back in pretty quick, hits 3 dangerous Saito suplexes in a row to Dragon right on his head, and then B-Boy gets the win here, 14 minutes and 47 seconds. I thought this was so far match of the night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm surprised B-Boy, I don't know, I just thought the aura of Super Dragon would carry him, but...
I was sort of disappointed, but I'm also like, maybe that's all he's got in the tank.
Yeah, Super Dragon, yeah.
B-Boy looked like he could wrestle more.
Is this also us looking at it from a we know who Super Dragon becomes?
Yeah, that's probably true too. I don't think he was.
And at the time, maybe B-Boy had the slight edge in terms of like
B-Boy.
Maybe at the time they were like, "Oh, this guy is. He's the finalist or whatever because he's great." And then as years go on, you're like, "Oh no, Super Dragon is a huge name."
They also keep doing weird stories about how he got his mask and stuff. Like they keep on the commentary.
Really?
Yeah, they just do the same weird things. They're just being like, "You know where he got his mask from? His grandma."
So we cut. And then out first, and the only guy who's selling the previous match so far, it's the consummate professional, Tony Mama Luke comes out. And then out second is Ruckus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they exchange fuck yous before just brawling into the crowd. Ruckus is thrown onto a fan's lap here, and then it's funny, like, Ruckus is trying to get out of the crowd, like he's sitting on an audience member, and Mama Luke just gets on top and tornado DDTs him, like, further into the audience, like, onto some other guys. Again, Tony's like, fuck these audience members. They probably paid less than $20 to be here. Back in the ring, Tony's locking an ankle lock and begins working the left leg. And this would sort of be a story as Ruckus just keeps selling his leg. But it's funny, he's that type of guy his offense is so ridiculously aerial that he'll go from like limping a bit and then he'll hit like a handspring moonsault.
And then land and be like, oh.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh no.
The match sort of resets as Tony starts working his arm now. Ruckus then does his own comeback, hits the razzle-dazzle with a big famouser. Then they do a pinfall exchange. Ruckus just sweeps his leg and then hits a standing shooting star press, sort of out of nowhere, for the win here at 11 minutes and 29 seconds. So Ruckus moves ahead.
Yeah.
And I think that was about right, I would imagine. You're not going to be bringing Tony back for any big runs or anything.
They don't want to come back.
Yeah, so Ruckus. So we've got Ruckus, Trent Acid, B-Boy moving ahead. So 2 CZW faithful, 1 outsider. And that brings us to our fourth, quarterfinal, semifinal. Johnny Storm versus Jody Flesh. And this is the match that apparently had been like taking Europe by storm. They even said this on commentary. These guys have been wrestling all over the UK and making waves. And they begin with this extremely fast-paced reverse off. The crowd comes alive just after this first exchanging of reverses. Just super creative counters. The chemistry is just clearly here in spades. At one point, off the apron, Jody Flesh goes for a shooting star press, and he almost does the Billy Kidman thing where he jumps and does the flip, but doesn't go out long enough, and his legs even hit the fucking top rope, but luckily Johnny Storm catches him. But that could have been like a way worse botch. And then not to be outdone after that, Storm hits this insane pop-up Frankensteiner, hits a sky-high bomb, which got him so fucking high. I think it was Jody Flesh just selling really well, but I was like, oh my god.
It is correct when you see like wrestlers who are like a cut above. It is like you're watching God at work. Like just like how when what you've been watching is like not great, to see them, you're like, that's the divine operating through him. Yeah,
Flesh is he's giving everything in this match. Like at one point there's a fan like 3 or 4 rows back that for some reason is like holding up a chair as they're outside, and it's like just off an Irish whip, Jody's Irish whip towards him, and just dives over like 3 rows of people just to bounce his head off this chair this fan had. And I'm sure that fan went home being like, holy shit, like what a thing. They're just exchanging high impact moves here near the end. Storm reverses a springboard with another awesome sit out bomb. And then Jody then nails, it's like he calls it the 720 DDT. So he does like a 180 getting onto the top rope, then a springboard 360, lands in a tornado DDT. Just an incredible looking move. And gets the win here at 12 minutes and 32 seconds. The crowd gives us just a full standing ovation.
Great match.
Probably the match of the night.
I
was pretty blown away by this.
To manage that so deep in as well after they've already wrestled and stuff is really impressive.
Yeah.
That shows they've actually got they've built some stamina.
Yeah, no kidding. It just breaks my heart that WWE was like not even hiring guys under 6 foot at this point.
Yeah.
And TNA was just such a bumblefuck company. Like it's like these guys could have been stars, you know? Then we cut, and a guy I was happy to see here. We finally get the wife beater comes out, and I gotta say I love this guy.
CZW's John Cena.
He really is. He comes out eating his crisps, looking jacked.
No, Cena is WWE's wife.
I've heard that about him.
He's the only wrestler you probably haven't heard it about.
It's actually Steve Austin. But yeah, when he comes to the ring, there's already just 2 barbed wire boards set up in each corner. Like I was like, all right.
That's his rider.
That's his rider.
I want a 4-pack and I want 2 barbed wire boards in the ring.
And it's awesome. So it's like you don't even know a match is coming where someone's going through them. Lobo's music hits, and everyone expects him to come down to the ring, but he's on commentary up like far away. He's saying, it's funny because Wife Beater's challenging him to a fight, and Lobo's like got a full leg cast. And he's like, look, I can't wrestle. And you're sort of like, well, that's fair enough.
It's not unreasonable.
Instead, Lobo's lackeys, the new school, reappear, who just are these guys who look like teenagers, GQ and Chris Cash. And they are out here to be fodder for Wife Beater.
Yeah.
He like immediately gorilla presses both of them into each barbed wire board.
It's like in the Incredible Hulk video game where you're just swinging soldiers around.
It's awesome. And I bet this is the first time these guys have even taken barbed wire. It's just, I bet, like, imagine that's what you, like, the segment you've been booked for. It's like, go out there and attack Wife Beater and just let him do his thing.
Yeah. And they've probably got, like, $10 to do that.
If that. I think maybe a free beer with the Wife Beater after.
I will sign something of yours as payment.
And then, so the camera's just on Lobo after his lackeys just get wiped out. And he has one funny line, he's like, that didn't go to plan, and the fans sort of laugh. And then everyone starts cheering wildly as Lobo's acting like it's for him, but it's because John Zandig has appeared behind him, holding just a thing of light tubes. And Lobo turns around like, what? Eats them to the head. He cuts a promo saying, "This is my company, and tonight Lobo dies." And then Wife Beater runs up to where he is, up on this stage area, suplexes him off the stage through just a barbed wire light tube table that was just set up there already. Insane bump.
That's just the spares.
Yeah, he could actually be dead.
It's like, we've not seen Lobo wrestle for months, and this was his first thing backwards. Just this insane bump through this barbed wire light tube table. And immediately Wife Beater's back is fucking ripped to shreds. Like, he's bleeding bad, like, right away.
I don't know if this means Zandig does get ownership of the company, but I don't know if legally that's... It's not like Chronicles of Riddick, you keep what you kill.
Well, right after Wife Beater said next month we're doing a no rope barbed wires match between him and Lobo, so maybe that's for the company.
Oh man, that's good. You know what? That's going to be nostalgic because that's where Lobo is best. Where just taking violent attack after violent attack.
Well, that's what I was going to say about this. I love this segment.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought, wow, it made sense. It didn't go too long. Your baby face looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean it was a bit. I can't. Choreographed being like, these guys are definitely not here tonight. Like when at the start, when they're like, these are the only guys who are going to show up, and you're like, oh, that means definitely Zandig and Wife Beater are going to show up.
Because if someone's not there, they usually just don't talk about it.
Yeah, don't talk about it. I don't think I've ever been at a party where I list off which of my friends didn't come.
Can you imagine like doing it at a gig where you're like emceeing a gig and sort of, so the acts that aren't performing tonight, Jason Mumford's not here.
John Bishop will not be performing.
Sean Connery.
So we get our cut, and then I believe this is semifinals, because it's just, we're down to the final four here. It's B-Boy out first, and now he's selling the Psycho Driver. I do love that the Psycho Driver is this one move. Like, everyone has a driver, as we've covered. Even Johnny Storm did the Storm Driver.
Yep.
But specifically, Psycho Driver number 2 will have you selling at the next match.
That's the best. Psycho Driver is...
It's not even a conscious sell either. Your neck just hurts.
Well, he did drop him on his neck. But B-Boy versus Trent Acid. I was actually pretty excited about this one. Trent Acid shows disrespect immediately, and then they just get into like a stiff brawl, which I was like, finally, like every one of these tournament matches had started with a reverse off between guys we've seen already do reverse offs. So I was like, no, let's get a bit of like feud in here, you know?
Yeah.
B-Boy hits like this Dominator style DDT, which looked really cool, but I'm like, how many guys can he do this to? He's like got him up on his shoulder. He's like tiny, you know? And then it's funny, like, at one point, B-Boy, like, he just does this move and then he looks into the crowd and just spits into the crowd. And I saw the woman who's like, ugh! And then she, like, turns to her husband and complains to him and he's like, I get over it.
Yeah.
But it's like, he just spit in the crowd.
That is gross. Spitting is gross.
Yeah, really gross. I'll take light tubes and open wounds and shit.
Yeah, don't spit on me.
But B-Boy then opened... B-Boy.
I thought you were doing patois, B-Boy.
B-Boy at one point hits a beautiful Shining Wizard. I'm like, man, I haven't seen a good Shining Wizard in a while.
That's such an insane name for a move.
It's
Shining
awesome.
Wizard. What does that even mean?
It's just, I don't know, man.
Shining Wizard.
It doesn't mean anything.
It sounds like it's slang for having a shit.
Took a Shining Wizard earlier.
Took a Shining.
It's just tons of back and forth, and then seemingly out of nowhere, Acid just nails a Yakuza kick and gets the clean here in 6 minutes, 51 seconds. I thought it was sort of like out of nowhere, but I didn't really mind either.
Because he's knackered.
Yeah, I think at this point, that might be it.
And I knew it was coming, and that is the problem where it's like, the matches needed to have built up. Like, having a 15-minute match, the longest match in the middle, is a bit not the way it should have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he should have stomped the first one, and then it slowly gets more and more, like, now you're back to 6 minutes, and, you know, at that point, you must be running on fumes as well. So, like,
yeah, you're right. Trent Acid had a 6-minute match, a 19-minute match, and now a 6-minute match.
I also wonder if it's like, again, the show's really long, so is that also a little bit of, you overran too much in the semi-finals?
I bet there's so much of that.
Can you keep it short, please?
Yeah, the Battle Royale definitely overran.
Battle Royale, 20 minutes for his match with
and we definitely need a segment like Zandig's like, we need it. There will no minutes cut from this.
I bet literally, like, there's someone in the back who's like, look guys, 2 discs on a DVD only holds this much time. Like, we can't just do whatever we want for as long as we want.
Do you think they could have done the Lobo Wife Beater Zandig segment without the match where he battered 2 kids.
Yeah.
The match didn't need to happen. You've saved a few minutes there.
I would have cut that whole battle royal personally.
Well, both of those things were.
Yeah, totally. Then we cut. Jody Flesh is back out as we get ready for the second semifinal. Jody Flesh versus Ruckus. Just based on who these guys are, I was pretty excited for this one as well.
Yeah.
They've done a good one. Like at least 4 good guys are in the finals here. Like any combination of these 4, I think would have been a good match.
And that's always hard to say in CZW that 4 good guys are in this match. Normally there's at least a bad guy in there.
Yeah, no kidding. They have like the second most impressive reverse off of the evening behind Jody and Johnny. Ruckus follows with his ring post moonsault, which is crazy. And then he goes for a runaway moonsault out on the concrete. And they get out in the crowd. And Ruckus tries to like... I don't even know why, because Jody wasn't even on the ground for it. Like he does this thing where he kicks off the wall into a moonsault.
Yeah,
and Jody's standing, and Ruckus goes to kick off the wall, and he kicks a fucking hole into the wall, and then just lands on his back because it has none of the support he was expecting.
Yeah.
This is a hilarious punch.
Yeah, this is the end of Blazing Saddles. Like being a scream falls down, or you're like, what the hell?
And commentary are having a field day because with the fat jokes and shit.
Yeah.
Like, look at this fat guy breaking the walls and shit.
That one, mate. You'd say that about a thin person if they punched a hole in the wall. Like, that makes sense. That's okay.
Yeah, that's just good banter, isn't it?
It is good banter. It's good banter.
But right after then, Jody's like, oh yeah, watch this wall kick, and he does it beautifully. But instead of like doing a moonsault, Ruckus catches him and then gives him the lawn dart into the wall, which would look cool. They get back in the ring, Jody's in control, gets a chair, they pass it back and forth, doing the whole RVD thing, like it's almost like a hot potato. And then finally Ruckus just kicks it. And then Jody sets up, nails his 720 DDT on the chair that was just falling on the ground, and he gets his win here at 6 minutes 50 seconds, setting up the finals. Trent Acid versus Jody Flesh. What do we think about the finals?
I would be excited if I didn't think both these guys were just so far gone. Like by this point in the night, like this should be an incredible match, but I'm just like, it's either going to be sloppy, or they're not going to be doing the moves, or there's just not going to be the energy there, or whatever.
Each man's fourth match.
Yeah,
this is all in one day as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
This could easily have been like a weekender.
Totally.
So they do 2 matches each day. That would have been a little bit better for them.
I wonder if that wasn't as common in wrestling. I wonder which indie company first started doing that, because I know Ring of Honor would eventually do weekend-long
I think
things.
it was after Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Then wrestling matches were like, oh, well, if they can do it, we can.
Yeah, that was it. But no, that's a great show. It's like, build up to the finals and then do the final on the next day or something. I don't know. But yeah, they show respect as the 2 baby faces, and then we cut. Out next, in the referee's shirt, is Adam Flash. It's the only time I've seen this guy not wearing a Slipknot t-shirt. That's his in-ring attire, his Slipknot t-shirts. Justice Payne is out at second, looking just gigantic and oiled up. He's so big. For like this indie company, he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then cue the Papa Roach as our Iron Man champ, Sick Nick Mondo, is out next. He just looks like such a star. I love him.
Yeah, he's great.
And then finally, Outlast, our newly crowned CZW champ, the Messiah, the guy who won the belt on the last show. Same with Nick Mondo, won it on the last show.
Yeah, that's the defense. Yeah.
So yeah, for context, Tony, on last week it was called High Stakes because all the belts were up for grabs. So was Messiah's girlfriend was up for grabs. And that classic wrestling trope where
why wasn't wife bitter in that match? I would have loved that.
He didn't want a girlfriend. He wants a wife.
And then I believe Nick Mondo's career or whatever. So they did that match between these 4 guys in the ring, and it was a 60-minute match, like where they just threw everything out. It was way too long. Yeah. But then they're coming back the next month with 3 of those guys in a match again, and one of them is a special guest referee. I was like, I just don't need to see these guys together in the ring anymore for a while. I've seen everything they can do last week.
Yeah, there's no way they've learned more moves since
for sure.
And then this was like, it was also just like, oh, it's that same match you saw last week, but they're all hampered by this shitty special referee gimmick. Like, they were doing so many things where Flash was like doing slow counts, or then he's like holding guys back and pretending to like check them for weapons, and all it did was slow down the match and made the match shittier.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Yeah, I thought like...
It's such a weird... There's so much talent in that ring, and it's just... Well, we've seen it. We've seen what the talent can do, and it's just like, why are you doing this during this tournament. Like, why are you doing it during best of the best?
Yeah, no, totally. I could see maybe having a world title like main event or something.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. You could have just also not had any involvement and just made it about your junior heavyweights.
Yeah.
At one point, it's funny though. Mondo hits his finisher, the assault driver, on Justice Payne, and the veteran referee Rob Hartog slides in to do his duty and do the count. And the special guest ref Adam Flash just hits Hartog with a chair to break the count. I'm like, I love you could have broken up the count, but instead you just smoked the referee.
Yeah, poor Hartog.
Yeah. Mondo's doing dives on side. They're doing like cool moves, but like I said, it's all sort of ruined by this gimmick. A table's set up, and Messiah and Mondo are standing on the table together. A table like this. Imagine two of us on it, and you can see the table like shaking.
It is like dipping. It is not built for standing on.
Table's taking deep breaths.
Yeah, and somehow Mondo gets him up for a fisherman buster. And fucking like hits it clean through this table, so it looks really cool.
That table is MVP. Taking that much weight, crazy.
Good thing Ruckus wasn't on it.
What? Oh mate, come on, it's 2020. You can't
on a commentary gig.
Yeah.
And they're all in their each corners when Flash just decks Messiah out of nowhere. He'd not been hitting any of the guys for this whole match, and then near the end he just decks Messiah with a right, allows Justice Payne to hit a super pain thriller. He gets him on the top rope, and then he gets the fast count win at 13 minutes and 39 seconds, making him both Iron Man and CZW World Champion again. Justice Payne's got all the belts now.
Yeah, belt collector.
This was so stupid. I thought the match was bad. I thought the booking was fucking terrible.
Why do it? Why even have the title change? Like, what? It is really
Just
bad.
shock value, isn't it?
And it has to be like we need to constantly be keeping like selling this VHS or whatever as like this one. Whoa, you won't believe.
But that would be fine if Vince Russo hadn't already taught us by 2002 that like the more you do hotshot title changes, the less they mean. Yeah. It's like I think WCW in their last year did like 32 title changes in the calendar year, and it was just like no one gives a shit. Your titles don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
everyone was a WCW champ by the time it closed.
Yeah, including Vince Russo.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that like I thought having Messiah I don't know about World Champ, I don't really care, but like the other one on Mondo, I mean they were good champs to have. Putting the belts together makes no sense. I just didn't like any of it.
There's just no story building at all, which every wrestling company, even shit indie ones, well, CW probably, but you do need that, like whatever level you are, because otherwise that like it can't maintain it. Not every match can just be high flying and stuff, and even if they are, as proven tonight, eventually you do just run out of gas with it.
Yeah,
you
definitely
need something to keep it going.
We get a bit of post-match here because Adam Flash is like, hey, I helped you win those 2 belts, give me one of those belts. And I'm like, that would have actually made sense to not have this problem with one guy having both belts. But instead, Justice Payne pretends to give it to him, then attacks him. But then Flash just gets the better of him, smokes him with his own title belt, and then they set him up on a huge table outside. They get this massive ladder inside, and Adam Flash hits his last call leg drop, which looks crazy every time he does it. Like a leg drop of all moves from a ladder to the outside is fucking crazy. Yeah. And he lands ass first on Justice Payne's face. Like he does, like he overshoots it, and I'm like, man, did he just break his face? Like crazy leg drop.
It's like the end of the episode of Game of Thrones.
And then maybe the most shocking moment of the show to me, Flash takes off the referee shirt, revealing a Mudvayne shirt.
Whoa!
Not Slipknot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a turn, isn't it?
That is.
That's wild.
End of episode. We don't even do the final
we're not
match.
covering the finals.
Yeah.
We cut, and we get Jody Flesh out here for the finals, followed by Trent Acid, who gets the mic on a microphone. And he says, if this is a CZW tournament, this match should be CZW rules. And then he throws Jody a chair, and he starts with a chair. And that's it. I thought they were almost like going to bring out barbed wire, glass or something. It's like, no, we'll just start this match with a chair.
Cage of death.
Yeah. Yeah, also, it's not really the rule. There's no CZW rules. I mean, we've talked extensively about how frustrating it is that they never have any rules. Like,
of course.
Definitely not a chair, because...
Yeah, they've used chairs already.
Yeah, they've used chairs.
He's already used chairs.
And in no rules matches, they have chairs, so it can't be a rule.
So they had a chair duel, and Acid wins, because I guess he's better with chairs. And then, like, he knocks the chair out of Jody's hands, and then just Not one chair shot to the head, just 3 in a row for good measure.
Welcome to America.
It's like, enjoy your concussion, back to England, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he builds a chair table right away, lays Jody on it, and then climbs to the top. And Jody just pops up and snap suplexes Acid onto the chair table. So live by the chair table, die by the chair table here for Trent Acid. Jody does a dangerous looking moonsault into the crowd, and then he catches like there's like a staff member with his back to the crowd to like keep it, and Jody just clips the back of his knee, and the guy goes down like yelling. I'm like, like I never saw him again. But
do you know when you like you tap the back of your mate's knee and they just
he did that to him.
They just crumble. Yeah, they just fold immediately.
Yeah, it's wild. Jody throws Acid a chair in ring and then springboard kicks it into Acid's face. He sets up a table in the corner after, and they're just teasing around it, but then Acid gets him up and does a blue thunder bomb through the corner in the table. Jody sets up Acid for a shooting star press, botches it again in the same way. He goes up really high and then lands almost on the corner. This one wasn't savable, so luckily Acid just starts attacking him. They climb back up, Acid cuts him off and hits a super reverse Rana on Jody, then puts a chair on his face and hits a tumbleweed, which didn't look protected at all. Looks like he just crushed his face here. Jody kicks out of everything here. It's all 2 counts. He hits the 720 DDT, Acid kicks out of that. It's what he's won his last 2 matches with. And then Acid hits 1 Yakuza kick, he doesn't even try to pin, hits another, then he drags Jody up, hits a 3rd Yakuza kick for the clean win here. At 9 minutes and 25 seconds, Trent Acid is best of the best 2. What did we think of this match, guys?
Man, if I had the attention span after watching how, I think it would have been great. But it's a real shame to have wasted that match like that. I think because it is just like having them two just wrestle at their peak, like when they have all their energy and all, would have been incredible. Because that was a good match, but I was gassed by the end of it.
Yeah, because we've already seen something better happen already.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same problem with the first Best of the Best. You might not know, Tony, but they had this legendary Briscoe versus Briscoe match on it that apparently people still talk about now, where they went for like a half an hour, they pulled everything out, and then that was like halfway through the show, and the rest of the show had to happen, and everyone's like, well, we've just seen the greatest match ever. And so I sort of felt Flesh versus Storm was like a bit of that in this one, where that was clearly the match of the night, and these guys weren't able to reach that level. Nor should they have, they're exhausted.
They shouldn't have been...
Yeah, and it's like, there's certain elements of it where to level it up and try to give it a bit of energy for the last match of a very stacked show. They're getting all of the gimmicks out, like the table of chairs and all of that sort of thing. But again, even those things have sort of already been used up by that point. So like all those little tiny extra bits of like seasoning to make the match look cooler and a bit more shocking, like they've kind of already used all of that in the rest of the night.
Because no one in CZW understands that, less is more, sorry. They don't understand restraint, and they think that they need to put everything, every match needs to be everything, but that's how you end up at this point where you're like, Trent Acid objectively a great wrestler, and so is Jody Flesh, and you're just like, that was fine, I guess, because you have spent like the past literally 3.5 hours watching that same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. So they're both selling complete exhaustion here as his partner Johnny Cashmere is down with the trophy, followed by the rest of the tournament bracket. They all celebrate Trent Acid. He's on the shoulders, the whole nine, which is funny because he is like a heel, but it's sort of like the story is he's Trent. It's not about heels and faces right now.
It's that respecting and it's surviving. 7 matches in one day.
And winning clean. Like, he did it pretty honorable as well. The announcer then says, this is the craziest thing. I can't believe they did this. So the announcer's like, okay, one by one, we're going to go through all the wrestlers, and you applaud for who you think was the true best of the best.
It's a gong show. They did a gong show.
But why? Why would you do that? And then Jody gets the loudest fan shot, and so, the chant, so they give him the secondary trophy. And then the guy's like, now it's time to decide match of the night. You're like, what?
Why is this? I was like, why did they not cut this out? Who is this for?
It goes through, just the worst way to do it. And obviously, at least with the matches, he's not going through every single one. He just sort of goes through the few ones you would think of. and Johnny Storm and Jody Flesh win match of the night, so they each get separate trophies.
So many. There must have been
It's a deal.
like, yeah,
5
a
for
crazy amount of trophies they've bought. Because they are like...
They've just stolen them all from
Yeah.
like a kids' football tournament.
Yeah, and now for best pants of the show.
Most improved.
Yeah, and of course we've got bronze, silver, and gold, so you need to cheer in succession.
Johnny Storm even then starts a CZW chant saying this is the best indie in the world. And I'm like, you probably don't think that, but you're in the room.
I hate listening to British people like when they speak in America. It just always always sounds like a parody, like because he's like, "This is the best bloody," and you're like, "We do sound like that." Oh my god.
Acid then gets a mic, he puts over Jody Flesh, gives him a thank you, and the fans chant for them, and then we get our sort of fade out, and that's the end of our show. What did we think of this, guys? We always rate our shows out of 7, if you remember, Tony. Have you got a final rating for us?
I think we're like. Can we do you allow for halves or anything?
Oh yeah. We do 0.75 even.
I'm gonna say like 4.5.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
by the way, Tony's on his own scale. We've not broken 3 yet.
Oh, right. Okay.
Although,
Right. So by your standards,
I'm saying 2.75.
here's how I do it, Tony.
well, I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say 3 then. I'm
Okay.
gonna say 3.
I was at a 3 as well, and you can stick with your 4.5. The way I view it is like, to me a 3.5 is a pass, because that's half. So that means I would recommend someone watch this show,
Right. Okay.
which I wouldn't. But I would say if you want to see what the indie scene was like from this time period, if you want to see like really cool guys like B-Boy Super Dragon, Trent Acid,
Yeah.
Jody Flesh, all those matches are worth seeking out.
Yeah, it's a show where it's sort of like picking out individual matches is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Watching the whole thing is probably not worth it.
Really tough.
Yeah,
A couple of the triple threats even is probably like 6-minute watch. Yeah, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
The some of the semi-final stuff again quite enjoyable. So yeah, for those reasons I think yeah. But if we're saying the whole thing of like, would I tell someone to watch the entire 4 hours? Probably not.
No,
Yeah.
I'd tell them to not watch the bit where they start chanting for trophies. But I think actually it probably works better as like watching it in isolation from like the only reason I think it's 2.75, you know, I think you're right, it's an interesting time capsule, is that like I'm viewing it in the context of continuing watching CZW, whereas someone who just watches that is like, whoa, that's that guy that I know. Like they probably would like most of it, to be fair, because
Yeah.
it's like an interesting, whereas I'm like, man, I have to watch these guys again next week.
Yeah, and like, yeah, context is everything. Like, you might not have been offended by the booking of the world title match if you didn't know, like, they just changed these titles a week ago and none of it means anything.
What I'm saying is CZW is at its best when you only watch one episode of CZW. Yeah. We've got 24 years to go.
That's fair.
That being said, I ended at a 3 out of 7 on this one.
I can't do it yet. We've got Tournament of Death coming up. Like,
Well, that might be a pass.
That's
But
2.75 for me.
I just think the big things that worked against this show, I have the massive length and anything that was non-tournament in this. Basically the Battle Royal and the World Title match really sunk this. I think this might have even been a passing grade for me if not for those. But as a self-contained tournament, I thought it was like an impressive one. I thought it was well booked. For the most part, I didn't like the triple threat thing off the back. It just, I don't know, my expectations are so low and they sort of outdid them a bit. So.
I think 2.5. If it had been 2.5 hours, it probably would have cracked like a passive mark for me, because that would have been like easy to watch. But yeah, there was too much normal, like non-restrained bullshit.
I agree. Well, guys, that has been Best of the Best 2. We hope you enjoyed the listen. Tony, thanks again for jumping on the pod with us. We'll hopefully have you back for the next Cage of Death, which I don't think is too far. Did you want to plug any Instagram handles, anything before we get out of here?
I'm on all socials at Tony_Wright97.
Beautiful.
So find me there.
Nice. I'm at FunnyJordanD. Instagram, give it a follow.
I'm at Pink Hoverboard.
Beautiful. And that's been our episode. Thanks for listening, guys. If you like the show, tell everyone you know, and we'll be back with you next week.
Wave.
Comics in the combat zone. Comics in the combat zone. Usually we make you laugh, but now we're watching guys get stabbed with light too.